And I'm sorry because I've got a flu, but I thought I should just make some comment on one point. This new thing, the government of national unity. This lecture is meaningless. I don't know what it means. Totally meaningless. Totally meaningless. We exercised the government of national unity in South Africa when we had finished agreeing to negotiate and establish the government in South Africa that would be voted by everybody. It had never happened because we had never voted in the past since the time immemorial. Only whites were voting. And we had decided to fight for our freedom after when we were talking that let us be free. Instead of the government responding to that, they actually banned the ANC. In other words, silenced the black people from talking about freedom, about whatever. We then declared war, and there was a fight that took place since 1961. The ANC was banned in 1960. And then at the end of 1961, in December, we declared war to fight for our freedom. And there was a fight in South Africa for many years. People died. There were arrests in South Africa. And some were even sentenced to life imprisonment. There was war in South Africa. We had not agreed with the oppressors to change South Africa so that everybody had the right to vote, etc. The vote that we are talking about today. And when a lot of things were done to move to a point where we all agreed to negotiate. And as you will remember, when this was agreed, South African situation was very peculiar, very unusual, very deep. The anger and the fight was one of the most in Africa, most fight that took place. We reached a point as we were negotiating that if, for an example, we said, let us go for elections, and then the party that will win will then run the country. There was a very good understanding that the hatred between the whites and blacks was just beyond anything. If you just said in the first elections, the party that will win will then rule the country. If the whites had won, I'm sure the fight will continue. But if the ANC won, black people won, there will be hatred. The continuation of hating one another or each other, whatever, or the blacks telling the whites what to do, blah, blah, blah. There were many important issues that were looked at. We, as we were all ready for peace, as you know, in addition to the hatred between the whites and blacks, there had also emerged a fight between IFP and the ANC, which was actually caused by the whites. So we thought we needed to find a formula, because the country was at war, at hatred, at every other thing. Therefore, in order for us to come to a point where there would be no problems between us, we thought we needed the first 5 years not to be ruled by one party only, because there was a problem in the country. People were fighting. There was everything that we could think of terrible. We then decided, I think I was there, was I not? Okay, am I right? Okay. We decided that for that first period, we need to work together. There must be no parliament where we say something wrong to across whatever. And it was a very wise decision to stop violence in South Africa. War, violence, war, whatever, and hatred. And on the basis of that, we said the best thing to do is that all parties that will participate in the elections, no matter what, we did put a deadline that above this number, those parties would be members of parliament. And for us to have peace in our country, because there was war, there was hatred, there had been apartheid, which was very rude. We then decided that these parties who will be in parliament, who will have so much, must those parties participate in the first period of the country to ensure that there would be no other war, no anything, so that we can work together rather than in the normal parliamentary things where people fight or argue. And once we felt we should do so, we then decided to call it the Government of National Unity. The reason was that there was no unity. There had been a war, there had been everything. And some people who don't know politics just take phrases and things. When this time they were faced with a problem of how do you deal with the situation in South Africa, they decide to put our country as if it's at war. We now needed to be together so that we can have a government of national unity. That is meaningless, says nothing. There's nothing, we're just misleading one another to think that is a good thing. Other people even forgot, thought that they could in fact be together with the DA, because they just put this word, Government of National Unity, others are hiding behind. Now it has become such a thing. But by the abbreviation, GNU. Nonsense. Now, if I was a journalist, I would have written a long article to help people here understand that it's just a fake. They just wanted to be together for various reasons of their own. And the others must have been maybe whatever. I don't know how to say, just magic. But the critical issue that I'm saying my brothers and sisters, as journalists, really, you need to be helping us on these matters. You know it, you see it, you know. I don't think journalism to be one-sided. It should be fair. It should. If I was a journalist, I was saying, but this thing we said it 30 years ago. What it is now? I think you'll be asking these people who have come with this, what are you trying to do? I'm saying South Africa is at war. You therefore need to have peace. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
President, we should actually call it for what it is. The ANC has joined the Moonshot Pact of the DA.